Thanks, Sam. Yeah, first of all, we're just really excited to have this opportunity. I'm one of the few people on our staff that we still together or not? Okay,
Should be.
hopefully you get me. You hear me? Okay.
You're with me. People don't
Okay.
want to see my face on the
I
screen.
got you. Okay. No, just I'm one of the few people around here, I guess, that remember the trip. It was just such a great experience for everybody involved with our party. Most of our team, obviously, but everybody there had a great time in Orlando. You guys do a wonderful job hosting an event, so we're just thrilled to be back there. It's been quite a while, and then also beyond that, the opportunity to play against a team like Kentucky, an outstanding SEC program, and Mark Stoops has just done an unbelievable job with that program for quite some time now. So we do have some connectivity between the Stoops family. Bob Stoops, who played here, was a senior in '82. Was going in the College Football Hall of Fame this next week, actually. Was with us last night. He was doing the game. And then Mike had a tremendous career here as well. And then Mark was the last one to play here. And he and I were, as I was leaving here in '89, that was Mark's end of his career. And all three Stoops is just tremendous players. All three of them outstanding coaches. And Mark's done just a phenomenal job with the program there. So a little personal aspect to it, but it's going to be a great thrill for us to have a chance to compete against their football team. We'll have our hands full, I'm sure of that. We as a team are certainly anxious to get back on the field. I don't know that we're going to be ready right now, obviously, but had a tough game last night and played an outstanding opponent and just didn't play well enough in really any of the three areas to expect to win that football game. But I know our team's excited about getting back to it. Have an opportunity to play in a great bowl game. It's just a great thrill. We talk to our guys all the time about handling adversity, and that'll be the task in this coming month for us. First and foremost, I think our players right now just need some rest, not only physically, but also emotionally and just mentally get away from things a little bit. So we'll try to be very mindful about that. They're going to finish up their schoolwork. This is our last week of class, and they'll be in finals next week, and then we'll transition into our game prep. But I can just tell you, we're really excited about this opportunity, thrilled to be coming to Orlando, and really looking forward to the challenges at hand. And I'll throw it out for questions.
All right, Coach, we'll take our first question from Matt Rochelle, the Orlando Sentinel. Matt, you can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Kirk, I want to ask, you mentioned the Stoops is obviously having a connection with Iowa, and you mentioned Mark's time there. What do you recall of his time as a player? And did you think at the time, I know you weren't his position coach, but what did you think of him as a player? And do you ever think that maybe he didn't wind up being a head coach someday?
I don't know about a head coach, but coaching, I think he probably had no choice. It seems to be in the Stoops blood. All the boys are coaches. The oldest one, Ron, was a high school coach in Ohio. And then Bob came, and Mike, and then certainly Mark. It's just a great family, and their dad, Ron Sr., was a tremendous high school football coach also. So I remember distinctly when I got here, watching Bob Stoops play, there was no question in my mind he was going to be one of those guys that would go into coaching. It's just how he played. He played smart. He was really tough-minded, but also played really smart and was very much into the mental aspect of the game. And it's funny with Mark, one of my first memories, our coordinator during the 80s was a guy named Bill Brazier. Bill's one of the best people and best coaches I've ever worked with. And I think if you asked any of the Stoopses, they'd tell you the same. I'll never forget when Mark was in on his visit. And I walked by his office, Bill's office, and he was talking to Mark. And then later on, we had a staff meeting after the recruiting weekend. And Bill made the comment, he goes, if this wasn't a Stoops, I would have sworn, there's no way this guy's going to be a college football player. And his point was that Mark at that time probably looked like he was 15, just a really young looking high school senior. And the Coach Fry, had his mind made up on that one already, and certainly it panned out. All three of the boys had tremendous careers here, not just good careers, but tremendous careers. So, not surprised at all. And Mark's done a wonderful job there with Kentucky's program.
Thank you.
All right, we'll take our next question from John Hale, the Courier Journal in Louisville. John, go ahead when you're ready.
Speaking of that, Coach, what do you remember about Mark as a player? I know you were on the offensive side of the ball. He was a defensive player at the time, but what do you remember stood out? Some memories about his playing style?
Yeah, I mean, the guy that I know the best and have the deepest relationship would be Bob, because Bob played here in '82 and then stayed on as a grad assistant, and that was what they used to call volunteer assistants. So Bob was here for several years after his playing career. And so I got to know him as a player, then also on a professional level. And, we had a lot of fun together. But the thing I would say, all three of them, they were cut from the same cloth. They wore the same number, 41, and it's cut from the same cloth. They just looked at football a little differently than most college players do. And again, I think it was in the blood. I think that's something they grew up with. They were also very good house painters on the side. They did that in the summertime with their dad, but they're a football family. Mark gets along with people outstanding. He's a great teammate, great leader on our football team. And again, just, his approach to football is probably a little different than the average guys.
All right, up next, we'll take a question from Joshua Moore of the Lexington Herald Journal, who confused me at first by raising his hand and having the same name as our IT guy. But now that I know that it's the right guy, Josh, go ahead and ask your question.
Kirk, you talking about Stoops' approach with a lot of people kind of, for a while at least, have described his team at Kentucky, the way he's built the program, sort of compare them a lot to a Big Ten team. Do you see that in this and kind of, I know you're playing a lot on Saturdays, but from what you've seen of Kentucky just over the years, I guess, how would you evaluate what they've done?
Yeah, I got to be brutally honest. Outside of Big Ten football, I don't know how much I've seen of a lot of other teams to comment in that regard. I'll know a lot more here in about 3 weeks, but just knowing the way Mark approaches things and looking from afar, my sense is he started out by building a great foundation and wasn't, trying to do a quick fix. And I personally think that's the way to go about it. You're trying to build something that's going to last. It seems like and appears from a distance he's had great support from the administration. I've had friends actually a friend that worked at Kentucky probably about 18 years ago, somewhere in that ballpark. But it sounded like the administration was really committed to getting a good, solid football program built. And they certainly selected the right person with Mark. And, you think about the experience with his two brothers, great people to pick their brains and get advice from, and just have tremendous respect and admiration for all three of the guys. They're just outstanding people and outstanding coaches. And Mark's done just a wonderful job building that thing, like I said, brick by brick.
Coach, we'll take our next question from Chad Lysticko from the Des Moines Register. Chad, go ahead when you're ready.
Sure. I hope you can hear me. I'm pulled over at a gas station here, but
Loud and clear.
Two quick ones. Do you know any more about the severity of Spencer's injury and whether that might impact his status for the game?
Yeah, he had a tough night last night, just discomfort. And as far as I understand right now, there's really nothing's in danger, no organs, anything like that. But he took a pretty good shot, and it wasn't to the head, but he took a shot, or at least strained some stuff in his abdominal areas. So he's going to be fine, but he's in discomfort here and probably will be for a while.
Gotcha. And then the Holiday Bowl is such a short prep 2 years ago, and then you lost your prep last year for bowl. So do you envision trying to emphasize, I don't know, like development in this period at all? But now you've also got a little bit of a shorter window at the championship. I guess just how do you view that?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, Chad. And I can't tell you why, but a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking about 2015. I was thinking about our bowl prep that year. And I would still contend, I can't document this or prove it, but I really think probably both teams that played in that game in 15 probably went into their next games a little tired, and neither of us had good results. So again, I can't tell you why I was thinking about that a couple of weeks ago, because I don't think anybody would have predicted we'd be in Indy, but I made a mental note of that, just really being careful where our guys at, probably emotionally as much as physically. And so with that in mind, as I'd love to do a lot of developmental work, but I just don't know if that's in our best interest. And I think, we'll look at it. I've kind of been, just giving it some general thoughts, but we'll start fine detailing it this week. And, we'll work our younger guys, but I want to really be mindful of our guys that have been playing, because they've really spent everything they've got, I think, for us to get 10 wins. It took everything. And just can't say how appreciative I am of all of our players' commitment, their dedication, the efforts that they've put out. And I think it's only fitting for this team to have, another performance where they go out and play their best. So that'll be the goal. And we'll try to be mindful, and, maybe here in a week or two, I'll have a little better idea what we're going to do.
Coach, we'll take our next question from John Stepp of the Gazette. John, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Hi, Kirk. Do you expect any players to opt out in terms of going to NFL, or is that something that isn't quite a conversation yet?
We'll start having those conversations this week. We had just kind of touched base with some guys back during our bye week, but really there's really no sense of urgency for anybody right now. It doesn't mean they won't do it, but really the players don't have to make any formal decisions till mid-January. So they've got plenty of time to think about things. And ultimately you just want players to do what's in their best interest. And one thing I'd love to have all of our guys back, quite frankly. But I also know too, you don't want somebody to stay if their heart's not in it. That's just not good for either party. So we'll start having those conversations, and I'm hopeful that, we don't have any of that kind of transition, but in the world we live in today, that seems to be a trend. So we'll just see how it all plays out.
Coach, take our next one from Scott Docterman of The Athletic. Scott, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, Kirk, I hope you're doing well. I want to ask about kind of the next 10-day block. Is probably recruiting, I'm sure, is probably the top of the list by far and away for you and your staff. But kind of how are you splitting your time? And then what are your players, how much time do they get off? Are they just kind of going to go and basically stretch and run around for a few days and that's it? Or what's kind of the schedule for the next week to 10 days?
Yeah, they're off till Tuesday morning. We'll bring them in and just have a brief meeting and just like a light workout, just to stretch and move around a little bit like they would on a Sunday. And then they'll get 2 lifts in this week, and then we'll do some light work over the weekend. And then next week we're in finals. So really these next 2 weeks, this week by design and next week by necessity, we'll really try to rest the guys as much as we can physically. And then we'll turn in earnest to the game planning. And then for our staff, we're a week behind in terms of travel, and believe me, we'd rather have been a week behind. We'd never make that trade. So we'll be moving around today or tomorrow and getting where we got to get and doing what we have to do. And then we host a handful of recruits this coming weekend, or maybe 2 handfuls. So that takes us through next Sunday. We'll finish that up. Guys will start their finals, and we'll really start digging deep into game preparation probably next Monday.
Coach, our next one will come from Jeff Drummond of Rivals. Jeff, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Oh, hi, Kirk. Thank you for taking out some time with us today.
My pleasure.
You had mentioned earlier you hadn't really looked a great deal at Kentucky yet, but the quarterback, Will Levis, is a guy that played in the Big Ten. I was wondering, had you had a matchup with him or seen anything of him on tape from his time at Penn State?
Yeah, I can tell you what we think of Will. I think this is correct. I think we were the first Power 5 school to offer him. So we offered him, a couple Junes ago. He came out and came to camp. It was a guy our quarterback coach, Ken O'Keefe, really liked. Came to camp, and there was no question in our mind he's going to be a really good college football player. Unfortunately, another school came in. It was a little bit more prestigious than us a couple weeks later, and that was the end of that relationship. But yeah, we did get to see him last year a little bit. Will's a tremendous football player, and I know he's done a great job. Again, I haven't seen film, but I just kind of follow reading articles, that type of thing, and I know he's done a great job for Kentucky, and I'm not surprised. He's a first-class young man.
If anybody else has any questions for Coach Ferentz, you can use the raise hand function. We'll call on you. If not, we've got I believe a couple players joining us, but we'll stand by for them. It looks like we have a new question from John Stepp. John, go ahead when you're ready.
Does this game have added kind of excitement when you didn't have a bowl game to play in 2020 after the Music City Bowl got canceled?
Yeah, as all of us know, John, last year was such a just an unusual year, right? I mean, a lot of weird things, and to get the bowl game canceled, I think that was on a Sunday. Does that sound right? I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but we were a couple days into preparation, and then the plug got pulled on it. Last year was just a season of strangeness in a lot of regards. So every step of the way this year to operate in semi-normalcy, starting with even our training, weight training, with just having a normal routine that way, and having a normal spring practice, pretty normal summer. So it's all been good. And then, yeah, now to have a bowl opportunity, it's really exciting. And, I'm just so proud of our team, the way they've played this year, what they've been able to do and how they've maximized their ability. So to play in a bowl like the Citrus Bowl, it's such a great reward for our players, and really happy. And again, I it's been almost 20 years since I've been there, but I can just say from that experience, it was first class. So I'm just so pleased for our players, and really happy for them for this opportunity.
Coach, we'll take one from Rick Brown of SI, and then we'll go back to Scott Dockman after that.
Okay.
Rick, you can go ahead when you're ready. All right, we will move on to Scott. We'll come back to Rick when we can get him properly unmuted. Scott, go ahead and ask a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask kind of about their mental outlook, because I remember in 2015 after the tough loss, and then you got to go to the Rose Bowl, and the players themselves still seemed really down because of the result, and understandably so. What do you try to do to get them not to worry about Kentucky and the Citrus Bowl, and just worry about going and being a human being for a couple of days? How do you kind of manage that and massage that so they get back in the frame of mind to play football in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was alluding to. And again, I can't tell you why I was thinking about that 3 weeks ago or whenever it was. I guess I was starting to pull some stuff together, just, in general prep thoughts. But that was one clear takeaway from 15. We weren't where we needed to be mentally or emotionally in that ball game. I'm not so sure as much physically, but I think mentally and emotionally. So, we got to do a better job as coaches. And, that being said, at that point, we don't know how last night was going to go. Obviously, it was a disappointing night for us. But the good news is right now, I think we'll put a good plan together. More importantly, we got a group that's already proved this year how resilient they are. And they've gotten back up off the turf a couple times already this year. I have full confidence they'll do it again. We got great leadership on this football team. They're really exceptional young guys, and hopefully we'll do our part. I know they'll do their part. So it's going to be a team effort for sure.
I want to go back to Rick Brown. Rick, did you have a question for us? All right, if that's the case, we don't have any hands up at the moment. We'll do a last call for questions for Coach, and then we'll take a short break. And I believe we're supposed to have Tyler Linderbaum and Dane Belton joining us a little bit later. But if there are any final questions for Coach, we'll take them now. All right, Coach, we appreciate the time. We'll look forward to seeing you down here in Orlando again in a couple of weeks, and hopefully the weather will be warm for you.
It'll be warmer than here. I know that, Sam. So we look forward to seeing you guys. Thanks again. And I know Dane just walked in, so we'll get him up here shortly.
Perfect.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you.
It sounds like we'll have Dane Belton with us shortly. Dane's a first team All Big Ten defensive back. He's also a Tampa native, so he's from down the road. We're happy to have him joining us. We'll take a short break, and then when Dane's ready, we'll get back to it. If you have same procedure will follow. If you have questions, raise your hand. We'll call on you and go from there. But I appreciate everybody's time, and we'll be with you again shortly.
Yeah, just go ahead. All right, Dane Belton's ready to go.
All right, Dane, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you taking the time. If you have any questions for Dane, we'll ask you to raise your hand and we'll call on you. But Dane, how are you feeling about your bowl trip this season? And are you looking forward to your trip down to Orlando?
Definitely, being able to go home, close to home, is a good opportunity. So, I feel like we got a good bowl it's based on how good our season was. And, we had the opportunity to go to better bowl, but, I feel like this is a great opportunity for our team.
If you have any questions for Dane, you can raise your hand. Dane, when you were at Jesuit, did you ever have an opportunity to play a championship game at Camping World Stadium?
I didn't. We went to the semifinal 3 times out of my 4 years there, and we didn't quite get that far. But actually, right now they just won 2 nights ago, so they'll be going to the state championship. I know it's not there anymore, but it's good for my high school for sure.
Got a couple questions now. We'll take our first one from John Hale, the Courier Journal. John, when you're ready, you can unmute.
Hey, Dane, I'm wondering if you remember much about facing Wandale Robinson, Kentucky's top receiver, when he was at Nebraska. Obviously, he did a lot of different things for them, but what do you remember about him as a player?
Oh, definitely. He was very elusive. They gave him a lot of jets, quick passes. He get up in open space and make something happen. So, he's a great player. And that's probably what I remember most from him is just, we have to be good at tackling, at coverage and, all the above. So.
All right, we'll take our next question from John Stepp. John, go ahead when you're ready.
Hi, Dean. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thanks. How do you kind of mentally adjust from having a disappointing loss yesterday to having still one more game to play for this season?
I feel like it's what you have to do, as football player, you have a short-term memory. We have a 24-hour rule or, you look back on the game, evaluate yourself, evaluate how we played. And then after that, we move on. And I feel like right now we're in the 24-hour rule, but once, that's over, we're looking forward to our next opportunity. And we have a great opportunity coming up, finish out the season as this group of guys, last game we'll ever play together. And I feel like that's what we do. We'll go hit the practice field and you just get back to working.
Dan, our next question will come from Scott Dockman of The Athletic. Scott, go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, Dane, I guess, have you had a chance to look back at last night's video yet? Or are you guys just kind of moving on for a few days just to not worry about football specifically right now?
Oh, we get a couple of days off as a team, to just regroup, recover and, get back. But I've looked at the film, by myself, and I know a lot of other players have as well, but we haven't watched it together as a team.
And on a side note, I wanted to ask you about just getting back to Florida. You guys had a bowl game canceled in Tennessee last year. Your first year you played in California, but now getting probably 2 hours from home, something like that. I mean, how does that make you feel? And are you already getting hit up for ticket requests?
It's a great opportunity, being able to play anywhere close to home. It's like an hour and a half in Orlando. So, very close. And I definitely have been getting hit up. My mom talked to me about it this morning, right when she landed back home from Indiana. And she was just talking about, we'll have a lot of people trying to come. So be ready for that. And, we'll handle that when the time comes. But, for now, they just told me to, recover and, just relax. But, it's definitely a great opportunity to be anywhere close to home, have a lot of family come to the games, especially being so far away from home, in Iowa. Just being close and being able to play close is great.
We'll take our next question from Thomas Caker. Tom, go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Dane. I wanted to ask you, as a third-year player, junior, you could explore the NFL option, at least, get the feedback. Is that something that you're going to do here in the coming weeks? And how are you approaching that if you are?
To be honest, I haven't really given that much thought. I just was focused on the season. And I think, if I have the opportunity to see the evaluation, I might, explore that. It can't hurt. But, at the end of the day, my focus is on this last game we had together as a team. That's just, what I'm thinking right now. So, that time will come. There's a time and place for everything. And I feel like right now we have a great opportunity at our hands. And to capitalize on that is what my mind is on.
All right, now we've got Chad Lystico. Chad, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Sure. Yeah, I remember, Dane, you came down to Tampa, right, to watch a bowl practice back when you were a senior in high school. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Of course, Iowa was playing an SEC team then. You have never played an SEC team. Is that something that gives you a little excitement, I guess, going into this game?
It gives a little excitement, but at the end of the day, whoever we play, is going to be a good competition and, a good opportunity. So, it could be SEC, Big 10 or Big 12 or Pac-12 or anybody. I feel like the bowl game we're in is a great bowl and, we're going to have great competition no matter who it is. And it being an SEC team, Kentucky, that's a great team as well. So, we'll have to bring our A game. We'll have to prepare and, be ready regardless. But I definitely think it's a good opportunity.
And then you played Will Levis last year at Penn State. What do you remember about that preparation and what type of player was he? You guys seem to do pretty well against him.
He was a tough guy. They used him in the run game a lot. Little scheme plays and things like that. So we'll have to be ready for that. He commands the offense well. He can toss the ball around a little bit and he runs, so it adds an extra blocker in. So we'll have to be physical. Like we pride ourselves on, and just go from there. I feel like we might incorporate a lot of things that we did against him in Penn State, but also he is a new coordinator, so we have to do, some new things as well. But, overall, he's a great player.
And if you have any final questions for Dane, let us know by using the raise hand button, and if not, we'll have Tyler up here shortly. Got one more from John Stepp. John, go ahead.
Is there an added meaning to getting to play in a bowl game that after not having a game in 2020, is there kind of an added meaning more than what Citrus Bowl would otherwise mean to you?
I wouldn't say, added meaning. I feel like anytime we had the opportunity to go to a bowl game, it's just a reflection on how we played during the season. So, we have good competition and, we'll be ready as a team. So, it kind of is, just not being able to go to a bowl last year. You see the banner up there in our indoor and it doesn't say champions, even though, we didn't get to play in it. So it's like, we want to go out here this year and definitely get a banner that says champions on it. So we can see that, as that extra motivation. But, I feel like we're going to come out and, give our all, it's our last opportunity together. And just to play one more game is all it is. So, I feel like we'll be ready.
All right, we don't have any questions left for Dane, so with that we will break, and I believe we've got Tyler Linderbaum standing by in the wings waiting for us.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Dane. All right, looks like Tyler Linderbaum's joined us, Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. I read Dane off my screen. Tyler, thank you for joining us, and appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
If we have any questions for Tyler, raise your hand. We'll follow the same procedure as before. We'll start with Scott Dockman, The Athletic. And Scott, go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, Tyler, I wanted to ask you just kind of about what's the next week to 10 days going to be like for you, because I think you're probably going to have to go to a couple of banquets around the country. And how are you going to be able to kind of rest yourself body-wise just to just get yourself back to kind of normal after a long football season so far?
Yeah, we'll have a few days off here with the team, getting some time to rest our bodies. Obviously, I'm heading to a banquet this week for the Lombardi Trophy, which I'm looking forward to. It's going to be a cool experience. But yeah, this time's kind of to let your body rest, let your mind rest, and then obviously we're in a great bowl game. And I know the team's excited for that to try to get our 11th win of the year.
Take our next question from Chad Lysico, the Des Moines Register. Chad, go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Tyler, I take it by your presence you're not opting out of the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dumb question, Chad.
I know. Just wanted to get it on the record. But I guess how much do you want to get back out there? Given what last night, we didn't get to talk to you last night, but I'm sure that was pretty frustrating for you.
Yeah, it was tough, tough experience, to obviously get the opportunity to play in the Big Ten Bowl, Big Ten championship game. And then, obviously we didn't perform the way we wanted to perform, but you got to move on, take these 2 days, rest your mind, rest your body, recover. And then, we got an opportunity to play in a great bowl against a great Kentucky team and try to get our 11th win of this season. I think, that's going to be our big focus moving on.
We'll take one from Larry Vaught. Vaught, you can go ahead.
Yeah, Tyler, just wondered, do you know anything at all about Kentucky? Have you watched them play just occasionally or anything this season at all?
I remember watching a few games, just if we're waiting in the hotel, watching some clips of them. Obviously, it's a great team. I know they got some good defensive players, but obviously I haven't watched enough to tell you about their whole scheme and whatnot. But, obviously they're in the SEC. I think they maybe finished second behind Georgia in their conference, which is pretty impressive. So, we're going to have to be ready to go. It's going to be a great team, great competition, and, we're going to be excited for the opportunity.
Thank you.
Carl, our next question will come from Kennington Smith. Kennington, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Tyler, appreciate you taking the time to speak with us. You've noted the 11th win a few times while you've been up there. 10 wins obviously was a huge accomplishment for this program, but to get that 11th win and kind of enter another step of rarefied air, what would that mean to this team, considering everything that y'all have been through this year?
Yeah, it's going to be mean a lot. But it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. Obviously 10-4 sounds or 11-3 sounds a lot better than 10-4. So that's going to be our goal. It doesn't happen often around here, 11 wins in this program. And our team's been through a lot this year. So to get that 11th win, it's going to mean a lot to us. And, we're going to have to work hard, prepare our butts off for this game.
Take our next question from Tom Caker to Hawkeye Report. Tom, you can go ahead.
Hey, Tyler, I know you're real close with Spencer. How frustrating was that for him last night that he gets hurt again and has to come out of the game?
Yeah, I think he's pretty frustrated, but I think just like the whole team, it was a rough night last night for us. Poor execution all the way around. We had some opportunities to put some points up on the board and get in the end zone, and we couldn't execute. And Spencer's a guy, he's trying to give everything for his team. Obviously, it sucks that, he's getting injured, but, that also falls back on us. We got to protect him better and stuff like that. But, it's a game of football. It's a physical game. Stuff like that happens. And, it's kind of the next man in mentality.
Take our next question from John Stepp. John, go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Tyler, I know you haven't met as a team, but have you individually looked at the film from yesterday's game, or are you just trying to get that behind you?
No, I haven't looked at it yet. I've been sleeping. I didn't get much sleep last night, so I've been, sleeping today. I'll probably take a look at it tonight. But I can already anticipate what it's going to look like. Not a lot of good things on the film, a lot to learn from, but and it's just stuff you can learn from going into this Kentucky game, and we're gonna have to move forward with it.
Take our next one from Chad Lystico, and then Scott Doctorman after that. Chad, go ahead.
Yeah, Tyler, Kirk mentioned he felt like you guys expended a lot of emotion and energy into this season. I guess, how would you characterize that, and what do you kind of feel like you need a little bit of a mental break? That's what he kind of referenced.
Yeah, absolutely. I think guys have given it their all this season. Obviously, Big Ten West champs, that doesn't come easy. We've been through a lot of tough, hard fought games, especially in that month of November. Every game coming down to the wire. And then obviously, we played against a great Michigan team. So, it kind of hurt, it hurts a lot, not being able to win in Indy, but now a couple of days off is gonna feel nice mentally and physically, and then it'll be time to move on.
All right, we'll take Scott's question next. Scott Doctorman, you can unmute when you're ready.
Yeah, Tyler, I wanted to kind of ask you a couple things. One is, this is a big month for you. You graduate from college. That's a pretty big deal. Kind of your thoughts on that. And then secondly, after you graduate, are you looking for a job? Or are you how are you going to evaluate the next few weeks? Because your name's getting linked to a lot of NFL clubs already.
Yeah, first off, graduating from University of Iowa, that's important to me. Getting a degree from here. I've had a lot of people help me along the way to get that accomplished in 3.5 years. And also I'm not really, looking too far ahead. When the time comes, the time will come. I'm just more focused on our game coming up, and I'll talk to the right people, get some insight on, from the coaches, family members, and people close to me. And then when that decision has to be made, it'll be made, and yeah, and we'll worry about that later. So
thank you.
Take one last call for questions. If you have a question, put your hand up and we'll call on you. So we've got one from Colin Cale of Iowa 5 News. Colin, go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Tyler, wondering, you've been through a couple of these bowls, just these 15 practices that you guys get as a team. I mean, how, obviously you're an older guy, how do you kind of use them, and of these extra 15 bowl practices, obviously developing for the game, but to, further on afterwards?
Yeah, I think this bowl prep is huge. I remember all my practices, especially from a younger guy's perspective. We get a lot of younger guys who get a lot of work in. Also it's time to get better, work on your craft fundamentals and stuff like that. So, it's not as hard as a fall camp, but it definitely has a fall camp mentality to it, to where you just focus on Iowa football getting better. And I think this has a lot of good things to it. Just, 15 practices, a lot of practices to improve your craft.
We've got a few folks with us this afternoon or this evening. We've got Coach Stoops and as well as DeAndre Square and Luke Fortner. We were going to go one at a time, but I guess since you're all here, we could always just go at the same time. If you have any questions for Coach or for Luke or DeAndre, please let us know. But Coach, if you could give us an opening statement about your team's return trip to the Citrus Bowl. We're excited to have you down here for this year's Vrbo Citrus Bowl on New Year's Day, 1 p.m. Against Iowa, and then let us know how you're feeling.
Thank you. It's an honor for us to be back in the Citrus Bowl. We had a fantastic experience the last time we were there, and very proud of our coaches and our football team, the way we finished. Like most teams, it's always a couple what ifs. You'd like to have a couple games back, but proud of our players and coaches for the way we finished. And it's an honor to be back in the Citrus Bowl and to play the Iowa Hawkeyes. Obviously a team that is very close to myself and my family. I have such great respect for Coach Ferentz, the entire Hawkeye organization, their players. I know how tough they are and the way they play, and it'll be a great challenge. But it's an exciting time. It's going to be a great game, a great matchup. And once again, thank you for the invitation. And it was a great experience the last time. And we would expect nothing less than another experience like we had the last time. So we're really looking forward to it, and kind of a hectic time, to be honest with you. I'm out running around, recruiting, traveling, but it's an honor to be a part of this, and we're excited.
And just for the record, Coach Stoops will be audio only for this, but we do have Luke and DeAndre available via video. If you have questions for any of them, raise your hand. We'll start with John Hale, the Courier-Journal. John, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Mark, can you just expound a little bit on what Iowa as a program meant to you? Obviously, getting all three of your brothers, or two of your brothers, and you as a kid, that must have meant a lot for your family.
Yeah, it absolutely. It's hard to put into words what the Iowa program has meant to us. In the early part of our careers, whether it was playing or getting started in coaching, I remember as a young child, getting in the car, playing football games on Friday night, or my dad coaching on Friday night, and getting in the car, driving 10 hours, arriving in the morning, watching my brothers play, and staying Saturday night and getting back in the car and driving another 10 hours back home. So, just the experience with Coach Hayden Fry, all of the assistant coaches, the people of Iowa, everybody was just so good to us during our time there. It really helped shape a lot of what we became, and the success we've had has a lot to do with the roots of Iowa, with Hayden and Coach Ferentz and the many other talented coaches that were there. Of course, Coach was there we overlapped a time when he was an assistant coach there, and of course then he came back. So just nothing but fond memories from the Hawkeye experience.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. We'll keep rolling with questions for Coach if we can. We know he's on the road, and we'd like to get him through pretty quickly. Coach Matt Rochelle will be next from the Orlando Sentinel. Matt, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Mark, I want to ask, you mentioned Kirk. Obviously, he wasn't your position coach, but he was on that staff when you played there. What kind of stood out to you about him? What do you remember about that time there when he was there? And what have you seen from him as a head coach that's shown so much durability, being around for so long?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier in the year. It just says a lot about Kirk and a lot about the people of Iowa and the organization to have the stability that they've had, with Hayden Fry and then with Kirk. What I remember about him was just kind of what you see now. Just an impressive man, an impressive coach. that always was nothing but professional. So as a young player there, even I was on defense and he was the O-line coach. You just saw a man that was going to be successful. I think everybody that ever came in contact with him and everybody in our program had nothing but respect for Coach Ferentz and knew that he would go on to big things.
Coach, we'll take our next question from Larry Bott. Larry, go ahead when you're ready.
Mark, you mentioned that you're out recruiting right now. So what does it mean when you're out recruiting and you talk about New Year's bowl game in Florida?
Well, everything helps. The fact that we've been consistent, we've been winning games, and like most teams, we want more. We want to keep on pushing, but it does help when you're going to bowl games and going to Florida, and we're looking forward to that experience.
Coach, our next question will come from Scott Dockman of The Athletic. Scott, you can go ahead whenever you're ready.
Yeah, Coach Stoops, I had a question kind of about your Iowa experience and how much of an influence did Bill Brazier have on you and your brother's careers as far as kind of teaching you how to become a coach in that level?
He had an enormous impact on myself and my brothers. And I know they have all, I don't normally comment for my brothers, but I know in this case, because we've all talked about it and I've heard them comment on it publicly, what an influence Bill Brazier had on us. Just an incredible man, just like every coach that has been through there, during our time. Nothing but respect for the coaches. And Coach Brazier was, really the ultimate. He was our defensive coordinator, position coach, and really old school, tough guy, but also very caring and very influential person in my life. So I have nothing but respect for Coach.
Coach, thank you. Our next question will come from Mitch Davis. Mitch, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Coach, first and foremost, congratulations on the great season. Wins over Louisville. Heck of a season, Coach. Coach, two-part question for you. First and foremost, Coach, congratulations on the contract extension. What does the University of Kentucky mean to you? And the second part of that is, with the contract extension that you got from the University of Kentucky, with the win over Louisville, what is that recruiting pitch like when you're out on the road and you're talking to recruits? What do you tell those guys to get those guys to come to the University of Kentucky?
Well, the first part of your question, what does the University of Kentucky mean to me? It means everything to me. It's where I've been for the past 9 years. You have two unbelievable people and players that are about to jump on that you're going to get an opportunity to speak with DeAndre and Luke, two of our finest right there that I have, just so much appreciation for. And it's been a really good marriage between the University of Kentucky and myself. It's, there's ups and there's downs, but there's always that way. And, I feel very proud to be there for 9 years and to be a part of that and continue to build that program. And, as far as the win, it's always a win. It's always an important win over a rival. And it always helps you. The big thing is I'm very happy for our players because it's a very intense grind going through any conference, in particular the SEC, and going through the physical and mental strain during the course of the season is awfully difficult. And to see the joy in our players' faces as we wrapped up that last game on the road against our rival, it means that it gives you a lot of momentum heading into the recruiting season.
Coach, thank you. We'll take our next question from Nick Roush, Kentucky Sports Radio. And after that, we'll go with John Steppe and John Hale and Joshua Moore.
Hey, Mark, I've never seen any clips of you back in the day. So how would you describe your play at the University?
Well, let's not go there right now. I might have to break a few out for the players just to give them a few laughs, during the bowl practice. I'll break some out and show DeAndre and Luke a couple of my moves. But no, I was really I was not very impressive as a player, that's for sure. I loved my time there, did the best I could, and not going to make any excuses, but back then when you tore up a knee, it was a little different than it is right now. Still no fun, but I had my fair share of injuries there that led to an early knee replacement. So we're going to stay away from that. So thanks.
Thank you, Coach. We'll take three more
Yeah.
for Coach, and then we'll move on to a couple questions for DeAndre and Luke. We've got John Steppe from the Gazette. John, go ahead when you're ready.
Mark, what are the emotions going to be like when you finally get to take the field against the school that has meant so much to you?
You know, that it's an interesting question. I don't know yet because it's very fresh in my mind. And like I said, I apologize if I'm a bit distracted because there's many things to do right now. But I'm sure it will. I mean, it'll be different for me, being that my father has my game jersey from the Hawkeyes very neatly folded and placed in his casket where he's buried in my jersey. That with the black and gold, it definitely will mean something to me, different than anybody else that played. That's for sure.
Thank you, Coach. A couple more. We'll take John Hale of the Courier Journal, and then Josh Moore from Lexington. John, go ahead when you're ready.
Mark, in relation to the contract extension, obviously that's a huge message to send to recruits, but how much also does there still need to be investment? And, you've talked about the indoor facility, your assistant coach salary pool, recruiting budget. How much of all that was talks with Mitch during this process too?
All of it was talked about. And so, we're working through it. I've had a great relationship with Dr. Capilouto and Mitch, and I have a lot of trust in those guys. And we talked about it prior to the agreement, and I'm sure we'll continue to work our way through it. It's not like it's just a simple answer on some things.
All right, we'll take one more for Coach from Josh Moore. Josh, go ahead when you're ready.
Mark, Coach Ferentz brought up earlier that Coach Frazier, he shared a story about a recruiting visit you took to Iowa, and said in a meeting later that if he didn't think if you weren't a Stoops that he would not have thought you would be a good college football player, and he went on to say good things about you. What do you remember from your time being recruited and just I know you talked a little bit about your experience getting hurt there, but just
Well, I just remember, I was recruited by 3 different schools I really looked at. Glenn Mason was recruiting me from Ohio State. And then, Barry Alvarez was recruiting me to Iowa. And then Nick Saban was recruiting me to Michigan State. And as I mentioned, I went on a visit to Iowa, I went on a visit to Ohio State. And I knew if Ohio State, if I didn't go there, I was definitely going to go to Iowa. And just, I felt so comfortable with those coaches. They were really like fathers to me during my time there. And they were just such great people, such a great organization. And, that's what I, try to be for our players, and try to be there and support them during good times and in bad. And, it just shows you, I'll tell you what kind of people Hayden Fry is and was, and the rest of his staff was. When my father passed during the season, they took a plane and came to my father's funeral. And I believe, I know we were getting ready to play Michigan the next week. And so it just shows you what kind of people they are. That was an easy decision for me. As I mentioned, I was ragging on myself. I was a very average player. I think, I became a starter my junior year, and then that was short-lived. I blew out my knee I think I got back from my father's funeral on Wednesday, and I blew out my knee against Michigan on Saturday, and that was about the end of my career.
All right, thank you, Coach. We appreciate your time. I know you've got a busy travel schedule, so I'm grateful that you've had a few minutes to join us, and we'll continue on for questions. But we'll let you go now. I thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, once again, thank you to DeAndre and Luke. You have two fantastic people to visit with right now that will represent us the right way. So thank you, and we look forward to seeing you in Florida. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Coach. We'll see you soon. And so for DeAndre and Luke, we'll take down all the current raised hands just so we know that we've got questions for players. So if you can raise hands with new questions, we would appreciate that. Luke, I wanted to start with you. I had read, you're a fifth-year senior. And I'd read the story previously that it noted talking about your favorite Kentucky memories and listing your previous Citrus Bowl appearance as one of them. What was it about your trip down here a couple seasons ago that was so special to you, and how much are you looking forward to returning to close things out?
Yeah, thanks for that. I'm actually a 6-year senior. I know some of the media was going to correct you if I didn't. So I'm a 6-year senior, and yeah, I had a great time at the Citrus Bowl last year, or 2 years ago, 3 years ago. So that's how old I am. I had ended up not being able to play in the game itself. I got hurt in practice the week before, but just the whole experience and being able to play a really strong Big Ten team and come out with a victory with that Kentucky team was an awesome experience for me, and something that I'm really eager to try and repeat.
Thank you, Luke. I didn't want to date you too much. We'll take our first question from Mitch Davis. Mitch, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Luke, congratulations on the incredible season and the win over Louisville. I wanted to just ask you, as a 6-year senior, what does that win over Louisville mean to you and also the other veterans? And how do you plan on helping the younger guys get ready for such a big bowl game against Iowa in the Citrus Bowl?
Yeah, that win, it means a lot to me and the other veteran guys. To be able to finish my career 4-1 against Louisville was a really cool thing. And it's a big win for us in terms of momentum. And I feel like we can carry this positive momentum into the bowl week, the bowl practice, and the week leading up to the bowl. And it's definitely going to be different for some of these younger guys because, last year we did it during COVID, and, this year it's going to be new for some of those new freshmen who've only been here for a couple of years. So I think the main thing with this bowl practice is just staying focused, because there's a lot of distractions. School finishes up, you get to go home for Christmas for a couple of days, and then you're, in the city of Orlando for a whole week before the game. So finding that balance between making sure you're having a good time and making sure you're getting ready to win the game is going to be important for us.
Thank you, Luke. We've got Jeff Drummond on tap next. Jeff, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Hey, Luke, we had Tyler Linderbaum from Iowa on with us earlier. I believe they said he was Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. Two really good units in this matchup. Is there going to be, some personal pride about the O-lines going into this one, even though I know you guys square up with the defensive line, but sounds like a really good line matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. I've watched their offensive line quite a bit, and they play hard. They're a hard-nosed unit. Tyler Linderbaum himself is a great player. I've watched a lot of his film. I definitely think there's going to be some pride going into it. And, their defense is doing really well and defending against the run this year. And, they haven't given up many points in each of their games. So it's definitely going to be a pride thing. And I think you're going to see us going head to head with the offensive lines for sure.
Thank you, Luke. We'll take our next question from Josh Moore. Josh, you can go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, Luke, when you, as a player and especially as a 6-year senior, this is your last time out there. Regardless, you don't have necessarily a decision to make. For you, though, just playing, and I mean, just how important do you feel it is to go out there and go out with a win, just, in terms of the program and the momentum that it's on, and how you're one of the players that's contributed to that?
Yeah, I'm really excited to play this game. When I first got here, Kentucky was, we went 7-5 my freshman year, and it was when Coach Stoops really started, turning the program around. And to be able to be a part of that and be able to, continually build towards something like another Citrus Bowl victory in the last, I guess 3 years, 4 years would be really big for us, especially for a game. I didn't get to play in that 2018 Citrus Bowl. So, this is kind of like a do-over for me. So I'm really excited to be out there.
Appreciate it, Luke. We'll move on. Our next question will be from, I've lost my screen. We'll do Larry Vaught. Vaught, you can go ahead and whenever you're ready. Thank you.
Hey, Luke, kind of following up on offensive line play going into this year with the new offensive line coach and not having John Schlarman here this year. And I think maybe there were some wonders about the offensive line. The fact that we don't hardly talk about Eric Wolford, is that the best compliment possible for him to show what a good job he's done with you guys this year?
Yeah, he probably enjoys the fact that you guys don't talk about him much. No, it's a huge compliment. He's done an incredible job. Like you said, coming on a new O-line coach with a new offense, coming off losing Coach Schlarman. I mean, the job he's done with getting us ready to play this year has been absolutely incredible. And he is very glad you don't mention his name. And it's been for a good reason. We've had some young guys come along really well. We've had some veterans play really well. And I'm really proud of our offensive line.
Reminder, if you have any questions for DeAndre or Luke, I would love to get a question there for DeAndre. You can use the raise hand function. We'll take our next one from John Huang, followed by John Hale, Jeff Drummond, and Nick Roush.
Hey, Luke, you've got to be getting pretty good at this. I mean, this is Kentucky's 6th straight bowl appearance. Leading up to the bowl, the preparation, what are you going to be doing differently this year than maybe you did the first couple of years?
Yeah, we've definitely learned a lot from that first Gator Bowl in 2016. Like I said earlier, it's a lot about finding that balance between having fun and getting ready to win a football game. 2016, we'd never been to a bowl before. We got caught up in all the week before, or all the fun you get to have, all the events you go to, being in a whole new city. So as you can tell, we've moved on to these last 4 years here. 3 years here, we've been able to come away with victories in the bowl games. And a lot of that's been what Coach Stoops has done in his message, and understanding that the veterans now know how to approach these games and how to spend a whole month, studying the opponent and game planning the opponent, and then going down to the bowl site, having a great week of practice and getting ready to win the game and having fun while you do it. There's no reason you can't do both. You just have to know where the line is.
We'll move on to John Hill next, but first I want to ask you, DeAndre, we haven't gotten to hear your voice yet. Can you talk to me a little bit about being a senior leader on this defense and how excited you are to play down here in Orlando?
It's been fun this year being a senior leader on this defense. When I first got this role, it wasn't tough, but it was, it's kind of hard to get everybody going the right way. But when we got everybody going the right way, it's been pretty fun. I love this, and I'm glad that we get a chance to get back down into Orlando to play in the bowl game. It was fun being down there my freshman year, so to do it again my senior year to come full circle. So I think it'll be pretty fun to have everybody down there.
Absolutely. We saw a big Blue Nation show up in 2019 for that New Year's Day game. What can you say, both of you, DeAndre and Luke, just about the Kentucky home fans and the kind of support you guys feel like you're always getting from them?
You can never say enough about the BBN. Probably I'd say one of the best fan bases in the whole United States. They the greatest. To me, they're the greatest. They never give enough love. They always got so much love for you. They're always at every game they can possibly come to, and they just show a lot of love and make it feel special to be a Wildcat.
Yeah, we never question whether or not they're going to show up for these games, and we're excited to see how much blue's in that stadium for sure.
We'll take a couple more for Luke and DeAndre. We'll go with John Hale next, and then Jeff Drummond and Nick Roush will close out with that. John, go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah, for DeAndre, obviously there's been a lot of speculation about what you might do with that extra year of eligibility. Have you made up your mind one way or the other? Just kind of where are you at in that decision-making process?
No, I haven't really truly made up my mind yet. I've been doing a lot of thinking with this time off, and I don't know, it's a tough decision, but I don't know. I haven't made up my mind.
We'll take a couple more. We've got Jeff Drummond next. Jeff, go ahead when you're ready.
Hey, DeAndre, earlier we were on with the Iowa guys, and they talked a lot about just how much they need this time coming up from a physical and mental standpoint. Can you kind of talk about you guys from the same perspective, how it'll be nice, to have 2 or 3 weeks coming up here.
Oh yeah, after playing in the full SEC, having those SEC games, it's tough. So it can take a lot out of you mentally and physically. So I feel like these 2 to 3 weeks are important for us to get back right mentally and physically, so we can be prepared to play a hard game versus Iowa team. So I feel like these 2 to 3 weeks is going to be very important for us.
All right, we'll close out with one from Nick Roush. Nick, go ahead whenever you're ready.
All right, I've got one for each of you. I'll start with Square. So, what was the news what was your reaction when you heard that John Summerall was going to be the head coach at Troy?
I was pretty happy for him because I know what type of guy he is. He's big blue all the way down. He would love to stay here for as long as he can, but the opportunity that he had is just something he couldn't pass up on. So when he called me, because he called me before the news got out, and he called me and we had a nice conversation, and I couldn't do anything but smile for the guy because he's helped everybody that he's came across in that facility here at UK. He helped all the linebackers. He was a big part of Jamin, and I can't thank him enough because he's been really important for me. Whether through like the ups and the downs, he's always been there for me. So I was nothing but happy. I was happy for the man because that's a big time job. I'm happy for him.
And for you, Luke, kind of keep it similar. We're going to be hearing a lot of Coach Stoops in Iowa. That's going to be the next month, all the time, all the talk everywhere in the media. What's it like to have an opportunity? I know he's a pretty selfless guy that you all can give him a win that can mean a lot to him personally.
Yeah, it's really big for us. He talked a lot about the way he felt when he was at Iowa. And I think the best thing about it is I believe that's the way we feel about Coach Stoops, and feeling like, the coaching staff here act as father figures to us, and, they make us feel comfortable, and we know they would do anything for us. Just like you heard Square talking about Coach Summerall. It's the same exact thing. So to get a win over Iowa for Coach Stoops, it would truly mean a lot to us. He works his butt off for us, and his coaching staff works as hard as they can for us, and to be able to reward him with that win would be really big for us.
Said we'd be done after that one, but I think we got time for a couple more. So we'll take one more from Larry Vaught and then another from Josh Moore, and then we'll be done. Larry, go ahead when you're ready.
Yeah. Thanks, DeAndre. Just getting a little bit back to Coach Summerall. What are you going to remember most about him, and what are you going to enjoy the most the next few weeks while you still have a chance to be around him?
I'm gonna remember he's a very exciting guy. He's like the tone setter. He's always got energy and juice, no matter what day it is, game day, practice, just a film day. He's always got juice, and he always has a nice story. He always tells us stories. So I'm probably gonna remember the stories he used to tell us. He's lived a lot on this earth, and he has a story for everything. So I'm gonna remember the stories he tells us. And what was the second part of the question?
And what does it mean? What are you going to think enjoy the most about just being around him for these last couple of weeks when you're going to have a chance to be with him?
I know the whole group is going to do this because he's just a great guy, but we're just going to enjoy the last time we can possibly he'd be our coach. So, every chance we get, every meeting, every practice, I know that me and the other linebackers are going to go hard for him because, we know how much this last game is going to mean to him because, like I said, he wouldn't want to leave his university. He got a great opportunity. That's the only reason. But we're gonna play very hard for him because we know how much it means to him.
Hey, DeAndre, we'll take one last one from Josh Moore, and then we'll get these guys out of here. Josh, go ahead whenever you're ready.
Hey, DeAndre, I don't really have a question for you as much as a request, but would you care to show off your posters? Looks like you got a pretty awesome collection there.
Here, DeAndre, we got to have you unmute so we can hear the descriptions.
Okay, I'm a poster guy. I like Marvel. I like Stranger Things and Rick and Morty and Minecraft. So this is a nice amount, you know. So, yeah.
I like it.
Awesome stuff. Thank you both, Luke and DeAndre. We appreciate the time and having you join us, and we look forward to having you both down here in Orlando, hopefully in a few weeks.